and welcome back to another Smoke Signal synopsis. In this video, we'll be looking at the April 1st, 2021 edition of the Smoke Signals newspaper. From our center story on the front page of the 12,748 COVID-19 vaccines administered so far by the Grand Ronde tribe, 13 of them have been in the arms of Portland Trailblazers. 13 of their 15 players received their first vaccine on Monday, March 22nd in the tribal gym. You can read that full story on the front page and continued on page 6. You might have read this story already as it was featured in Indian Country today. The story at the bottom of our front page and continuing on page 9 shares the Chinook Wawa language teachers' experiences and struggles teaching the language during the COVID-19 pandemic. This story includes multimedia excerpts on our podcast page and YouTube channel.
Alda Pescoska Oak Kabashawash Ilai, Kanui Shawash Kaba, Suska Kayak Suska East Ela Payash Tai.
Links to that will be in the description below. We had a few stories in this edition on the Blue Heron Willamette Falls area. First off, the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde is once again rebuting claims by Columbia Plateau tribes regarding historical usage of the Willamette Falls by Native American tribes. You can read the full story on the front page covering the Confederated Tribes of Umatilla Indian Reservation sending Oregon Governor Kate Brown and other officials a document in November 2020 in an effort to get the Grand Ronde tribe to dismantle its ceremonial fishing platform and prevent it from exercising its cultural practices at the fall. You can read the Grand Ronde tribe's response on page 7. After a mental health examination order delayed the original trial date, the man suspected of starting the fire that damaged the Grand Ronde tribe's Blue Heron property has had his trial set for June 1st. You can read the entire story and more about that case on page 3. Our last Blue Heron story in this edition, and a popular story we saw picked up by other news sources last week, the Grand Ronde tribe is now sharing its ideas for future use of the culturally significant land located on the ancestral homelands. The 23-acre Blue Heron property near Willamette Falls has many options for development and ecological restoration. You can read more on those plans on the other side of page 5. Tribal Council approved the Natural Resources Department entering into 2 contracts that will restore oak and upland prairie habitat on 2 of the tribe's 6 conservation properties during its Wednesday, March 24th meeting. You can read details on that restoration process on page 5. Tribal member and American Leadership Oregon Executive Director Lisa Watson led a panel discussion on health inequities in Indian Country in recognition of Women's History Month on Thursday, March 18th over Zoom. You can read that entire story on page 8. Exciting news in Indian Country. Deb Haaland, the New Mexico Congresswoman and a citizen of the Laguna Pueblo Nation, became the first Native American cabinet member on Monday, March 15th, as the U.S. Senate confirmed her nomination to lead the Department of Interior. You can read more on that story, plus Grand Ronde responses, on page 9. And that was your Smoke Signal synopsis. You can read the entire paper now online as a PDF at smokesignals.org or in the print edition coming to you soon. I'm Kamaya, the social media digital journalist for Smoke Signals.